Hey guys, Tori here from Overlook Horizon. Hopefully I'm with you because we're dropping some major frames here right now. And we're getting a lot of frame drop. I don't know what's going on. Oh, the technology is killing me today. The whole last week, technology's been failing me all over the place. Technology is just not my friend recently. I see we're full streaming right now, so that's promising. We're not dropping any frames right now. But yeah, just before the intro ended there, we were dropping we were dropping all the frames. We were at 0 throughput. So we'll see. Hopefully this will come through, and we'll be back here soon. Oh gosh, I don't know what the deal is. I got pretty good internet service, but you might beg to differ on your end. So I don't know what the deal is here on why we're dropping frames. Sorry, I'm kind of like vamping and also like looking at diagnostics at the same time to try to troubleshoot this because I don't want this to be an issue for the entire time that we're streaming, because that would really be a problem. I'm just trying to find out if there's like some other device somewhere on my network. Yesterday, I kind of chalked it up to the storms. We were having a whole bunch of thunderstorms going on. I'm not sure I can really blame the storms today because there's not really any storms happening. So I don't know what's going on. Let's see. Hold on. We're like temporarily like blocking devices on my network here to try to improve our signal here. Let's see if we can. There we go. We're putting a speed limit on some of these other devices. Hopefully I don't knock myself offline in the meantime. Just bear with me a second here. We're trying to troubleshoot. I'm wondering. We're speed limiting devices here. There. Hopefully that gives us some sort of improvement. I don't know if it will, but at least I can say that I did something. Okay. Anyways, we're carrying on. Cristiano says, call the ISP, please. I will certainly be calling my ISP. I won't mention any names, but I was going to say it rhymes with something, but that was going into a dark place. Just leave it at that. Anyways, all right. It's Starship 10. We're here for Starship 10. That's what you're all here to watch. And hopefully we actually have a good flight today. We actually get off the ground. It was not looking great a little while ago. So they did poll go for propellant loading. So we are underway. Propellant is loading. The countdown is running. We are fueling the ship. That's fantastic news. So we're good on that front. And the problem really that we're going to have today, hopefully, is only limited to just looking at weather. Hopefully there's nothing wrong with the vehicle. Everything was fine yesterday. We got all the way down to T-minus 40 seconds prior to launch. Almost got there. Weather wasn't having it. Today is the same story. So a little bit earlier today was 45% go for launch. I had heard rumors, and I saw somewhere in the chat, people were talking that maybe it got upgraded to 55% go. So not a huge improvement, but a little bit of an improvement. Hey, we'll take what we got. Guillermo now says it's 70% go for weather. I just need sources there. If anybody's gonna give us info like that, happy to make that sound official, but we need some sources. I do see a new source from SpaceX that was 19 minutes ago that said that weather is now 55% favorable for liftoff at the opening of the launch window. So that's good. So 55% is the last official word that I've heard on my end, or at least that I've seen from official sources. That comes right from SpaceX. So yeah, we're up to 55%. That's good news. If anybody sees anything else, you let me know. We'll be sure to take a look at it. But yeah, 55% go. Weather's the main concern. So we'll kind of we've done this now 3 days in a row. So I'll kind of breeze through some of the things, and then we'll go right to weather, because that's really the only thing that's changed for today is weather. But just in case you haven't joined us for the last 3 days, we'll give you a quick rundown of what's going on for the flight. So flight number 10, this is kind of a repeat. It's like the 4th time they've tried this mission. Flight 7, Flight 8, Flight 9, they've all tried a pretty similar mission here, which is that the Starship is supposed to go suborbital. We're still not in an orbital trajectory yet. They are going suborbital. They need to do a couple of experiments, right? The 2 big ones are test payload deployment with some Starlink simulators, and then they need to do an in-space engine relight with the Raptor engine so they can demonstrate that they are able to relight that engine, which they're going to need to do a deorbit burn. And I got crickets. That's not the right button. That's actually kind of funny. Crickets was not the right button.
Deorbitate.
That's the button I was looking for.
Deorbitate.
They're going to need to do that in-space engine relight in order to prove that they can safely deorbit when they do go orbital, because
It's going to deorbitate.
It's got to deorbit and get out of space. And then, of course, they want to do a re-entry again. They want to do, they're coming back in. They want to test some heat shield tiles. They've got some tiles removed. They got some active cooling on tiles. They've got catch fittings on there that they want to test the structural and thermodynamic properties of those. And what else did I miss? They're going to do a soft splashdown in the Indian Ocean. And yeah, really testing a bunch of off-nominal settings. The booster itself, very similar to last flights. The booster's been doing pretty well. They did test some re-entry stuff on the way back down. They tried a higher angle of attack entry last time, but that caused some structural failure on some fuel transfer tubes, and so they're not going to do the high angle of attack this time. They're just going to do a normal angle of attack coming back. They're kind of easing back off of that. They'll still do a soft landing in the ocean because they're going to test a engine out procedure on the booster to see if the booster can soft land and do a brief hover before splashing down in the Gulf. Before they're not going to actually do a catch attempt today on the booster. So that's kind of the plan. I had heard a bunch of people are saying the SpaceX is live. That's okay. I will pull that up here in just a second. But before we get to that, I guess I do want to take a look at our weather. So let's see if this button wants to work today. We'll try this one here. And hey, all right. So we got weather. All right. So this is our aviation weather map here. It's a little more enhanced, which is kind of nice. Yesterday, we were looking around. We had a whole bunch of storms and things like that. It's a little less prevalent today, a little more scattered, but we do have, right? If we take a look, we'll turn off some of these layers here. The nice one, or best one to leave on here is kind of our TFRs. So the TFRs gives us the temporary flight restrictions gives us a really good idea on where the actual launch is happening, because you can see this big circle right here. This is Boca Chica. This is the center of the actual launch operations. Then you can see we've got a TFR activated for the immediate region here. That's where, kind of a safety buffer for anomalies. It's also where the booster is going to come back down and land as well. If we turn on our NOTAMs layer, I'll turn this back off here in a second, but you can see the big orange and red, or yellow and red. I don't know if that's yellow or orange. NOTAMs here that extend way along the flight track. Way out here. You can see all these hazard areas that go way out. So we've got some huge NOTAMs for the entire flight path there. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that no traffic can go through there. They're timed so to kind of control the traffic that's going through. Some of them are just warning areas too. They're not necessarily like flight restrictions that mean you can't go through. But the other thing that I wanted to turn on here is our airmets and sigmets, which the red section here, this is a significant weather warning, basically. So it usually signifies convective activity, thunderstorms, big, thick cumulus clouds, lightning activity, things like that. And you can see yesterday we were just outside of it. Thought maybe we could squeak it out. Today we're actually inside of the boundaries of the SIGMET. So it doesn't necessarily mean we won't launch. It just means that the chances are, we got a higher chance of running into thunderstorms, thick cumulus clouds, things like that. We can actually, this map is kind of cool because we can look at clouds. We can kind of scroll through the whole altitude range for clouds. We can see, actually, as I scroll through, there's not really any, there we go. Up here at 24,000, this is 21,000 feet. Here's 24,000 feet, 27,000 feet, 30, 34. So we got a layer of clouds potential right around the 20 to 30,000 foot mark, which is right around 10 kilometers, just under 10 kilometers in altitude. Another cool thing that we can look at is we can look at a color infrared satellite signal here. So what's nice about the infrared coloring is as you get more blue, right? Clouds are typically very cold. So when you're looking at clouds, especially from a radar image, it's hard to tell whether they're thick or whether, there's big buildups or things like that. The infrared picture kind of gives us a little bit of a depiction of how thick the cloud cover is, right? So your dark purples and your dark blues, those are really thick, towering clouds. So obviously out here to the west, big, nasty looking systems out here. Up here to the north, some thicker clouds as well. But right now over Boca Chica, things are looking pretty clear. No crazy thick clouds right now. But the question is really, let's see, can we put this in motion? If we put it in motion here, you can see kind of the trend here from the last, this is about 3 hours until about an hour ago. So this big system here is probably our big worry for clouds. Is this gonna slide in over the launch site before we can actually get the rocket off? And we'll look at our radar. We go back to our radar here. We can see where, the big radar and storms are happening. So we've got lightning and storms and big cells up here. Everybody's pretty familiar with that, but it's pretty far away from the launch site. So things are looking all right from a radar standpoint. The big question really, it's going to come down to, I think, whether or not the clouds will hold out for us. Because I don't think we're going to have any precipitation or rain or storm systems. Even lightning, really, active lightning, probably not so much of a worry. But we obviously can't launch through thick cumulus clouds because that's where we can get rocket-induced lightning through some of those thick cumulus clouds. So, all right, let's see. I want to get SpaceX is live. Oop, not this button. I want to get this on the screen here. See if we can full screen this. Flip that over to there. And then we'll switch us back to this view. There we go. All right. So it's got, we've got a timer running. I'll see if I can update our clock to match that. I did do some updates on our countdown clock to better manage the T-minus holding clock there. Let's see. How can I do this? I'm gonna try to oops. All right, let's listen into SpaceX here, and we'll see what's happening.
Factory, and I mean, it wasn't like this for very long. This is all pretty brand new.
Yeah, I think we moved Starship here in about the early part of 2019. So we've been coming that entire time and seeing the site evolve from a double wide trailer and a tent where we built Starhopper to the first suborbital test flights. And now we have behind us 2 towers for the first time as we build towards the first operational flight from the second tower at the end of this year. And this beautiful building, 1 million square feet, where we're able to work towards a production line of Starships.
Yeah, the SpaceX team has done an incredible job of building out really the most advanced rocket manufacturing facility that has ever existed. This is far beyond any rocket fabrication facility that has ever been built. This is essentially
All right, so I'm listening into this. This is actually what they're doing is a replay from yesterday's Elon interview. So because we're pretty much at a replay of that, I'm just gonna keep on chatting away over the top of this. If you want to watch the Elon replay from yesterday, that video, of course, is available. But we'll stick to today for now, and maybe what we can do is actually check in with some people. I want to get our timeline up on the screen, but they've got the live view is on the left, and my timeline would cover that up if I put that up there. But we'll leave it off for now, and I'll switch to my timeline in a bit. Let's check in with some people. I see. Do you guys see? I feel like this is a new feature here. That I never noticed before on YouTube, but we get these little top fan badges here, right? I see right now our two amazing moderators, Red Scorpion and Graham, are tied for the top spot for the #1 top fan, and then F Rainman bringing it in at number 3, which is maybe that's T Brookie. I'm not sure why it gives me your username in the. It gives me the username in the top fans list, but in chat, it just gives me your actual name. That's interesting. Bouncing around a little bit. I also see actually Philip Swanner jumping in and taking over the number 2 spot here, which is kind of, I don't know what makes that, how you get that. So, but there you go. Philip Swanner sitting at the number 2 top fan spot. Whatever that means. Cool. Thanks for jumping in, Philip. Good to see you here. All right, let's check in. We'll see a whole bunch of people in the chat here today. Of course, T Brookie was feeding us some info yesterday and the day before, and super helpful as well. T Brookie had a good question. Will Starship be above those storm clouds along the flight path? So if we go back, well, let's switch over to our aviation map here, and we'll go over to the cloud layer. Where is it? This layer here. So right here, it looks like we've got and this, of course, this is a forecast layer. This is not necessarily live conditions. So they're forecasting clouds at 27,000 feet and pretty much wide coverage. So at this, let's see. So this was last up, and it's also lags behind a lot. So this was last updated at 2 o'clock today, Eastern time. So that's like, I don't know what, almost 5 hours ago that it was last updated on the clouds. So, so these are forecast cloud conditions. If we do run into clouds here, that's where we're not going to get around those. If we look at the IR the infrared satellites, this is much more up to date. This is like this is 6 p.m. today, so this is within the hour. These were actual conditions from within the hour. So this gives us a much better depiction of what's currently going on right now. I know maybe it looks a little Minecraft-ish, but really what we're looking for is those deep blues, the purples. Those are kind of our danger areas. And right now, over the launch site, nothing there. This was as of an hour ago. This isn't real-time updating, but yeah, it's the best image we've got so far, where we can see that we don't have super thick clouds right over the launch site. And really the question is, can this stay out of it? Going back to T Brookie's question, will Starship be above those storm clouds along the flight path? Though that would be probably these over here. I would say yes on that, because really, when you get your Starship is probably over all the storm clouds by about this point right here. So it's pretty short after launch that it's up over the clouds. So really, we just need a hole that's about the size of this NOTAM area here. Maybe on both sides, if you were to kind of draw this as a circle, we need a little bit of a bigger hole than this immediate NOTAM, TFR that's in the middle. but a little bit of a bigger hole there to kind of spread us out of what do we need? Let's see. We need a little bit of a bigger hole than this immediate NOTAM TFR that's in the middle, but a little bit of a bigger hole there to kind of spread us out of what do we need? Let's see. We need probably 15 or 20 nautical miles maybe. So here's 20 nautical miles out to here, if you can see where I'm drawing. So here's 20 nautical miles is out to here. 20 nautical miles is out to there. So in the aviation world, typically they tell you about 20. You want to stay about 20 nautical miles away from storms. I guess in theory, maybe they could shrink that down to 10. But I imagine they're probably looking, somewhere. Maybe we can call it 15 to kind of average them out. There that we huge. Hopefully. All right, let's see. Somebody said this. Red said the stream stopped. Oh, I see. Maybe we're back. We're gonna have to suffer through this, I guess, but I don't know why, but yeah, well, we'll see. We'll see if we can deal with it. All the frame drops. There's not really much I can do with it in real time, but yeah, we'll go from there. Just know that if we do drop some frames, it appears to be just for maybe like a second or two. Hopefully that doesn't happen right at liftoff. But yeah, we do seem to be dropping frames every once in a while. It's not super major, but every once in a while I do drop some frames. I don't know why, but it comes back after a second or two. So just give it a second or two, and hopefully it comes back. Oh my god. Okay. All right, we're gonna push through. Philip checking in with the kind words. You're my favorite Rocket Live streamer. Thanks, Philip. Appreciate that. Kind words there. Let's see. Oh, KDB is back. KDB's a regular over here on the channel. I don't think we've seen KDB the last couple days, but KDB's here. Welcome. Just checking and going through the chat, seeing if I missed anywhere. Oh, here's a good question. Red Scorpion asks, is Bobblehead Tori still dancing around? Yes. As a matter of fact, I even added a light to Bobblehead Tori today. You can see Bobblehead Tori over my shoulder. Right here's Bobblehead Tori. And I even gave Bobblehead Tori his own special light today. So he's a little bit more, he sits right there in every live stream. You probably just don't notice him right next to the silver play button. But yeah, he's always there, but he's usually in darkness. And I didn't like that he was in darkness, so I added a light to him just today, like 2 minutes before we went live. I was like, you know what? Let's put a light on him. Okay, back to it here. All right, what he's blurry. Yeah. He's blurry, Tori. I know that's kind of just that's just the way the camera works here, because I'm at a super low f-stop, so I've got the aperture wide open to make me look beautiful. But what that in turn does is it makes the background really blurry. That's just kind of how photography works. All right. Well, wait, Philip Swanner now at the #1 position for top fans today. He says we need Director Tori to come back and fix those frames. Yeah, Director Tori would not be happy about the frame drops today. I don't know what's going on. I really need to figure that out. But Director Tori is you all right over there? Yeah, he's good. He's okay. He's pacing. All right. There was another comment I was going to go to that I saw somewhere on one of these screens, but... Oh, there it was. Tyler asked, what's the probability of launch today? So as of now, we're 55% go, mostly due to weather. All right, so weather is the big thing that we're keeping an eye on. If we switch back over to our weather map here, we can see that we've got these... So this just updated here now. So this is now as of 6:30 p.m. So this is Eastern time. So this is 30 minutes ago. So this is an infrared cloud radar depiction from 30 minutes ago. And this is the big thing we're looking at. So I've got the ruler up on the screen. The big thing we're looking at is how far away are these blue, and especially the darker blue and darker purple returns. Those indicate thick cloud coverage. Launch site here is right here in the red, the center circle there. That's our launch site. So we've got the ruler up here kind of measuring out 15 nautical miles to the west, which is where these clouds are. Really, like, these lighter blues, probably not going to bother us so much. I bet we could still launch. If we get to the point where, like, we're here and these thicker blues start coming in, that's where we might have a problem. Or these lighter blues start to thicken up a little bit and they're no longer light blue, and now they turned into bigger buildups and they're coming through as darker blue. That's where we could have a problem. Buildups and they're coming through as darker blue. That's where we could have a problem today. So this is as of 30 minutes ago. This was the latest infrared cloud depiction. Again, dark blues, purples, those are big thick clouds. Your yellows, your greens, those are just your browns, those oh, the dropping. What's happening? Why am I dropping frame? Interestingly, and we dropped again. This is frustrating. I'm looking at my network stats here, and yeah, everything dropped out. So it's not just, I thought maybe it was like something on my personal network was crushing it. But when we lose network, we're losing everything. Every device goes offline on my network. So yeah, that's a problem. And yeah, we're gonna have to push through that. I don't know what we're gonna do about that, because I'm pretty sure this is on the ISP's end. So you tried turning it off and turning it on again. Well, I could turn it off and turn it on again, but that would crush my net. We would lose the stream for a while if I did that. It takes like 5 minutes for all my systems to boot up. And again, it looks like it's on the ISP end, because I was looking at my network traffic and I just when we have those drops, I just completely lose all traffic to all devices on my network. So yeah. All right, well, we'll push through, and hopefully it settles itself down. And I will be calling the ISP immediately when this stream is over. Yeah, Darren, it's not... Darren said I had to lower the quality to keep the stream going. Unfortunately, lowering the quality is not really going to do anything, because it's not on your end. On my end, I can see it every time it happens. On my end, I get a big giant red warning on my screen, and it says, you're now transmitting 0 bytes. So yeah, that's not great. So we're just going to have to push through it. Yeah. Philip Swanner says, don't you know we got a Starship launch to watch? Come on, fix yourself. Yeah, I don't know what the deal is. We're gonna have to get a hold of them, figure out what the deal is. I've had them out here before. They actually replaced the whole underground cable for me. Maybe like a year ago, but time to get them back out here. Okay, well, let's push through that, and hopefully we'll see this. Oh, I'm seeing this. I'm watching the meter. So I have like a little. I have a little meter that shows me how much throughput I'm getting, and I keep seeing. We're supposed to be streaming at about 6 megabits per second, or 6,000 kilobits per second, and when it goes lower than that, I see it go. Ooh, it's coming down. Let's see. Anita wants to know, do you have a storm cell in your area? I don't think so today. Yesterday I blamed it on storms, but I don't think, well, actually, I don't know. I take it back. Here's where I'm located, up in Rochester. We do have this big storm right here. I didn't know that was around, but yeah, that's pretty close to me. I'm in this region here, so that's like 15 miles from where I am. Looks pretty mean and nasty. So, I guess it could be storm related, but I don't know. It's making me angry. All right. Anyways, we'll go back to Boca Chica. We're taking a look at the weather here at Boca Chica. Am I on fiber optic? I am not on fiber optic. I do not have any fiber optic providers that come to my house. Unfortunately, I'm on cable, but I do have a 1 gigabit cable connection. It's 1 gigabit down and like 40 or 50 megabits up. So it's a huge difference between our upload and download through bandwidth. But it's the highest service I can get. I can't. They won't let that. There's no option to get anything higher. So okay, well, continuing on. So we're still looking at weather. We're at 19 minutes to go. Things are still counting down. I think we're still in good shape. I mean, the clock is still running on the SpaceX stream. I don't have it turned up here. We can look at the actual rocket there. You can see it going on, but they're kind of replaying Elon's spiel from yesterday. So we're going to keep them muted and just keep talking and doing our own thing in the meantime, because really the big question mark is going to be that weather. We'll take a look real quick. We didn't do this yesterday, but here's our flight path, our trajectory for the day. So we can get a little horizontal view at it, so you can kind of see what the booster is going to do and what that's going to look like. So we're going to get launch. We're going to get hot staging. We're going to get a boost back burn up here at the very top is where it finishes. Then it's going to come down, do a landing burn, soft landing in the ocean. No catch attempt today. So that's where the booster's going. And then if we zoom back out, we actually can see that Starship's going to continue on. We'll have engine cutoff here, and then it's going to coast all the way around to the other side of the world here and do a soft splashdown in the Indian Ocean off the western coast of Australia. That is the plan today, but it's this nasty weather here that's getting a little closer. So this is our radar return, which doesn't look as concerning. So I don't think radar is the main concern for today. It's really going to come down to our clouds. We could take here's an enhanced satellite look. This is also something that we can take a look at here today is enhanced satellites. So this is as of 6:30, so like 42 minutes ago. This was a live depiction of our clouds 42 minutes ago, and you can see this kind of puts our big concerning clouds in blue and yellow and orange over here. So this is the big system that we're worried about. And it looks like if we put it in motion, that this is actually kind of trending. I don't know. I'm trying to figure out which direction it's going. It's kind of like southeast maybe. So it does look like it's drifting a little closer to Boca Chica, but it also kind of looks like it's staying away. So hopefully it just stays out there. But yeah, that's the big concern, because right now that is those big thicker clouds are about 30 nautical miles away from the launch site, and we want to keep those far away. So it's those big, thick cumulus clouds that are going to be the concern for today. Can't launch through big, thick cumulus clouds. Not that you can't fly through clouds, but big, thick cumulus clouds, especially when there's convective activity, you have an unstable atmosphere, you can cause rocket-induced lightning, and that's bad. Where basically there's no lightning happening, but the rocket launch itself causes the lightning to happen. All right. Just over 15 minutes to go. Check in with a couple more comments here before we get there. Skyfire85 over on Twitch, trying to give me the benefit of the doubt, said it might not be you, Tori. Everyday Astronaut is also having issues. YouTube seems to be having hiccups. As much as I would love to blame YouTube for this, I actually think it is on my end, because like I was looking at my network stats, and when I lose connection, every device on my network drops out, including my cell phone, my security cameras, my Amazon Fire TV, all that, everything loses connection, and I can see it happening on my network stats panel. So unfortunately, I do think it's on my end, but I also don't think it's my fault. I think it's the ISP. I don't think it's my equipment. And I don't think it's this computer either. Anyways, continuing on. Let's see. Wes Quist. Wes is a regular around here. I recognize that name too. Let's blame it on Elon. We'll blame it on Elon. Take that. All right. Let's see. What else do we need to cover here that we haven't covered already? This can be tough to do 3 days in a row, because I feel like I've covered all the stuff already, and plus I'm having a hard time remembering what I've said and what I haven't said. So, yeah. Well, I guess we'll talk a little bit about the mission again. We already did this today. I'm pretty sure I'm not misremembering that, but big things today. We've got some re-entry stress testing that we need to do on Starship. We've got the in-space engine relight that we need to do.
It's going to deorbitate.
And we really want to get those payload deployments out. I would love to see. So we have like the Pez dispenser. Oh, are they showing it on camera right now? Look at this. Look at this timing. Here's the Pez dispenser. I would love to see a camera view of this, and I hope that they show these Starlink satellites getting yeeted out of the side of the Starship like this. That'll be kind of cool to see. I think somebody on Twitter, it might have even been Tim Dodd, somebody said it would be really cool if they just attached a GoPro to one of the Starlinks just to see back at the Starship, like a GoPro, even if it's just like a Bluetooth or Wi-Fi connection back to the main Starship to transmit it back. Be really cool if there was because these are not real Starlink satellites. These are just Starlink simulators. So that'd be cool. Maybe they put a Starlink antenna on it or something so they can show some video from it. It'd be really cool if there was onboard video from one of the Starlink simulators as it gets shot out the side so that we could look back at the Starship in orbit, or it's suborbital at least, but it'll look like it's in orbit at least. That would be really cool to see. That'd be awesome. All right, looks like actually they might be talking live here now, so let's turn it
jump right
turn
in.
it up and
As
listen.
always, it's going to start with liftoff. Super Heavy ignites 33 engines lifting off from Starbase and ascending. It's going to power that ascent for about 2.5 minutes until we get to hot stage separation. Super Heavy shuts down all but 3 engines, deeply throttles the remaining ones, stage 2 lights its and flies away. We have stage separation, a directional flip. It's going to descend. We're going to do some landing burn experiments and then do a splashdown in the Gulf.
Meanwhile, ship continues on with its ascent burn, again reaching a planned suborbital trajectory. We'll attempt to deploy 8 Starlink simulator satellites and then head back for re-entry, where we'll be testing multiple experiments, including missing tiles, metallic tiles, and intentionally loading the vehicle's flaps. Ship will also attempt a flip maneuver, and if all goes as planned today, we'll conclude the test with a soft water splashdown in the Indian Ocean. So that's what we have on deck for Flight 10, which is just about 11 minutes, 40 seconds from launching.
That's right. And so just a quick status check-in. So as you said, we're about 11 and a half minutes away. We have some good news. We got our latest range and weather status.
Green.
And surprise, everything is looking green today. So
Yes.
that's the biggest news that we were looking for. Again, weather is the main watch item for today, but we are green right now. We're not tracking any issues with the vehicle or ground systems, so we are looking pretty good for launch. We did all of our normal pre-flight checkouts with all the different vehicle and pad systems. At this very moment, we're almost done, or we're pretty far into our prop load on ship, and a little bit more to go on the booster.
Yep, looking closely, it looks like we're nearly closed out on ship, like Dan said, about 70% of the way through on both methane and LOX on the booster side. We'll continue loading prop for a while. We'll close out at about T minus 30 minutes, 20 seconds on ship, and then 30 seconds later, we'll finish up loading prop on the booster.
Yeah, so bottom line, a little over 10 minutes to go. Range is green, weather is green, vehicles looking healthy. We're looking good to launch right at the top of our window at 6:30 p.m. Central Time.
Can't wait. All right, now let's quickly talk about Mars, since everything we do is part of our foundational mission to get to the Red Planet. Each Starship launch is to learn more and more about what's needed.
All right, we're going to let them talk about Mars a little bit, but great news here. We got 3 greens. Weather's green, range is green, vehicle's green, green across the board. That's fantastic news. Love to hear that. Now, we hope it stays that way. I mean, I think if it stays green, I mean, I would like to think that we're going to stay green. If we're at this point here, we're only 9 minutes away. These cloud returns were 30 nautical miles away. This was 50 minutes ago. So I don't think we're really going to run into too much here. So here, let's see. Can we refresh? Will it refresh? No. Enhanced satellite, still 6:30 p.m. Color IR. Our radar returns are from 7:15. So this is 5 minutes ago. Yeah, I think we're in pretty good shape from a weather standpoint. So I think we might see a launch today. I think we might be able to see a launch. This is going to be it. I think this is it. Please, internet connection, hold up for the launch. Let's see. Tori, did you get a new mic? You sound different. No. This is the same mic that I usually have. I don't think I think I'm the same. But I've had this mic for 2 years now, a year. I don't know. Whenever I built the studio, I got this mic. I guess that was like a year and a half ago. Let's see. Oh, risky Prima. I can't be the only one who misses 2-minute Tuesdays, right? It never been just 2 minutes, but it's fun. I know. Every time you guys always get me going with that, and I'm always thinking, you know what? I should bring back the 2-minute Tuesday, but I got to find the time to do it. That's the hardest part. Hard to find time. Today, Pork Chop Jimmy says, today it's 2-hour Tuesday. Assuming the internet connection holds up. We'll see. Let's see. Martin says, looking at weather-wise satellite view, there are very few cumulus clouds out over the Gulf, but not much near the launch site. Yeah, I think we're in good shape. I think those cumulus clouds are going to stay away. So hopefully we should be good to go for launch. Fingers crossed. 7 minutes away. So, yeah, here we go. Martin, we'll bring this up one more time. Martin says it'll be interesting to see a payload deployments. Previous attempts have either failed or ships not gone to the point where they could happen. Yeah, definitely. We need to start seeing some progress with Starship, right? They got to be able to move on from this test so they can start moving on to other tests so we can get to orbital flights. Eventually we can, get to human trials because, again, Starship is supposed to be used as a human landing system for Artemis 3, scheduled for 2027. It's not that far off, and we're kind of stuck in this current status here right now. So we really need some progress. We need a successful mission. Hopefully today, full success. or at least, 90% success, and then they can kind of move on to another test, right? They haven't been able to test the different heat shielding. They've tried that. This is the 4th time now. They haven't been able to test the payload deployment. This is the 4th time. Haven't been able to test that Raptor relight. Or actually, maybe they did test it once before, but they need to test it again. Yeah, we need to get some of these objectives kind of checked off the list here and move on to some new tests. So, well, we're 5 minutes away. Things were all green.
Thanks, Tyler. Things are continuing to look good for launch here in Texas, so getting pretty close here with just under 6 minutes left. You mentioned Gigabay. We're currently laying the foundation for Gigabay here at Starbase as well, and we expect it to be up and running sometime next year. So yeah, there's a whole bunch of Starships on the way, and we're going to need more hands on deck. So come help us build the gateway to Mars. Visit spacex.com/careers to see all of our openings.
Yeah, I've been here for a couple of years now. Nowhere more magical, more inspirational on the planet. If you're a space nerd, you can come be like Amanda and build these things for real. It's pretty insane. It's super exciting. And yeah, come check us out. All right.
Absolutely. It's surreal to be here for sure.
Saw a comment from Chusakon. Chusakon, what's going on? I feel like we haven't seen you in a while. Checking in with us. Chusakon said, I think they're just keen to get the last 2 V2 launches done so they can move on to V3. That could be true, right? Flight 10 and Flight 11 are both supposed to be V2 launches. And then hopefully we move on to the version 3 of the Starship. And then they're even talking, well, I don't know. They're even talking about version 4 already. So, yeah, lots of progress happening. But, yeah, we still need to nail out some of these objectives here. But good to see you again, Chusakon.
Different stages. We'll see a couple of final things happen. Well, you can't really see it. It's all going to be happening in our ground systems as we'll do pushbacks, clear all of the propellant out of those lines that are flowing up through the tower and into the vehicles, and get ready for launch. We just did our final guidance, navigation, and control system checkouts. Our flight safety system is being armed right now, and we're doing our final wiggle checks shortly with the engines on the thrust vector control. It's how we're steering the rocket. If we need to hold, which we are not currently tracking a reason to hold, that would come at T-minus 40 seconds. You saw us do that yesterday. We can hang out there for about 8 minutes or so right now. That's the point. It's built into the countdown. If we need to wait for clouds that just won't go the heck away or any other issues, we can hang out at T-minus 40 for a bit. But at the moment, we're not planning to do that.
Now, once we pass that T-minus 40-second mark, a number of events are going to occur in rapid succession. The ground spin and ignition systems come up to flight pressure. Ship will switch over to internal power, and after that, the QD arm lockout is removed in preparation for retraction, which occurs shortly after T0. And once we pass that T-minus 40 seconds, we do still have the ability to then recycle the count under certain conditions back to T-minus 40 seconds and hold there to assess what happened, and if we can proceed again back down to liftoff.
That's
All right, I think you know what time it is. We got to get a poll going here.
Space Lobster Nation, this is Space Lobster Control. Give me a go, no go in chat for Starship 10!
Couldn't get my effect turned off.
Attempt tomorrow because we
Here we go. No, we had some no-goes yesterday in chat. Chat. We had no-goes. Pork chop. Jimmy, get on board here. There's no maybes. Pork chop. Go or no go?
Coming up on 2 minutes.
We're 2 minutes away. Make a decision here, pork chop.
Green for weather. Green has always been my favorite color, only more so
I've
now.
seen it.
And
Everybody's
we're not
green and
tracking
go
any
today. I
issues
like it.
with
I'm
the
liking our odds.
today, so
Terry over on Facebook is go. Randy over on Facebook is go. Skyfire85 over on Twitch is go.
Holding at T-minus 40 seconds right now, but in case we do pass that and any issues come up, we can recycle the count. we're pretty lucky that we have this ability. Falcon doesn't have that built in, but being a developmental program, this affords us a lot more flexibility. So super useful to be able to have that. But again, not currently tracking any issues. So hopefully we'll be good to launch today.
Should be good to
coming
go.
up on
Let me
90 seconds.
Let me give you the YouTube reminder real quick before we get to launch. There's only 126 likes on this video. We got 600 people watching. Take a quick second. Like the video for us. It helps me out. I know you hate hearing that, but you got to play the game. YouTube likes that kind of thing.
All right, so we've got crowds gathered out at Hawthorne, crowds gathered here at Starbase.
Super fun to see people getting to watch
There
out
we
on
go.
the front lawn now.
1 minute.
1 minute to go to launch.
Are we going to pass the 40-second hold?
All right, so again, our hold point comes up at T-minus 40, not tracking any reason to stop there, so we should
We're
see
going to
us
keep
go
going
right
by.
through that.
We're still counting. Here we go.
All right.
We're still counting.
T-minus 40. We are counting down. We're going to let our flight director,
yeah.
Maciek Batura, take us the rest of the way. 30 seconds, the 10th liftoff of Starship.
Come on, baby.
T-minus 15. T-minus 10. 9. 8. 7. 6. 5. 4. 3. 2. 1.
Yes. Yes. Go.
We have liftoff.
Vehicles pitching downrange.
Booster chamber pressure nominal.
All right, we're a little over 40 seconds into flight. 33 out of
Booster and
33
ship,
Raptor
avionics,
engines.
power and telemetry nominal.
Getting good call outs, healthy systems on the booster as it starts to pitch over the Gulf. All right, we're a little over 1 minute into flight, about to pass through max Q.
Max Q.
All right, so we are through the period of maximum dynamic pressure, max stress on the vehicle as it continues to fly.
Our next major event is going to be hot staging, which is happening in just over 90 seconds from now. To get ready, the booster will shut down all but 3 of its Raptor engines. The clamps holding the 2 stages together will release, and the Starship second stage ignites its engines.
We got one engine
the
out.
ship then separates from the Super Heavy booster and heads to space.
There's one engine out on the booster.
At the same time, the 3 engines still firing on Super Heavy will flip the booster around. 10 more engines will ignite for the boost back burn, putting the first stage on the path for splashdown in the Gulf. As we mentioned earlier, the hot stage will be jettisoned for this flight, and that should occur just after the boost back burn. So we're about to shut down the first stage and perform hot staging. So let's just watch and listen.
Yep, we're coming up on hot staging here now. We do have one engine out on the booster. You can see in the bottom left corner. But that should be fine. Shouldn't be a big deal.
All right, seeing the engine start to throttle down.
Here's most engine cutoff and hot staging.
Miko.
Oh, looks good. Looks good. Looks good. All engines running on the ship.
Boost back burn startup.
Yeah.
Stage separation.
Stage separation confirmed. We've got 6 engines running on ship. Booster is doing its boost back burn, continuing now towards its splashdown site in the Gulf.
Ship
We are
Raptor
seeing
chamber
all 6
pressure is
Raptors
nominal.
lit up on ship.
that one engine is still out on the booster. Where that one inner ring engine is out on even on the boost back burn, which makes sense.
You heard them report ship chamber pressures nominal, so that chamber pressure, just that expected thrust level in those Raptor engines on the ship. 3 vacuum optimized,
Ship
3 sea
avionics,
level,
power and
all
telemetry
looking
nominal.
good.
We got all engines running on Starship, so that's good. Speed is accelerating. We're looking stable, so that's good.
There's a view into the business end from the ship.
Boost back burn shutdown.
All right, so at this point, we finished our boost back burn, so that was shut down. So that's the first of the 2 burns after a launch that the booster's going to do today. So now it's headed towards the Gulf. It's not going to be quite as an aggressive of a flight down. We relaxed that angle of attack a little bit, but we are then going to be looking for it to do its engine tests for the landing burn, and those are going to be a little unique this time.
Yeah, typically we start with all 13 inner engines lit for that landing burn and bring that down to just the center 3. But one of our test objectives for today is to simulate what an engine out situation would look like. So we're going to be intentionally turning off one of those center 3 and instead lighting one of the engines from the middle 10 ring.
Yeah, we did see one of those engines in the middle ring shut down during the initial ascent. Oh, looks like we have hot stage jettison. You can see it floating away there to the left of the booster.
He got me nervous when he goes, oh.
Yeah, we did see one of those middle engines shut down during the ascent. Again, we are resilient to engine out on Super Heavy. That's why we're able to get through our ascent.
So we can see that
Starship flying on the expected path.
Hot stage ring over here.
There's still a chance that engine could be back in the mix for the very start of the landing burn. So we'll see if we light up all 13. But we've even done a landing burn at the tower with an engine out. So very resilient. We'll see how it does on its way down to the Gulf, though.
Got a little bit of movement.
Right, so we got a couple of minutes. That landing burn start should be just about 40 seconds away.
Starship's getting a little bit of a roll. Is that normal?
That's always rad. You can see the boost plume itself in the background as it was coming in. All right, about 20 seconds to landing burn.
Come on, let's see it. Let's see it.
Ship Raptor chamber pressure is nominal.
That's good. Are we gonna get? We're gonna get the full inner ring back. Here they come.
Landing burn startup.
Still missing that one engine.
Looks like we got 12 of those 13.
One engine out. Inner ring as a backup.
Down to 3, including one of the middle ring.
Oh, this looks great. Oh, hover.
Down to 2. Nice little hover.
Oh, nailed it.
Shut down.
Nailed it.
And into the Gulf. Here we come. And the booster has splashed down.
Yeah.
Incredible flight for booster today.
Meanwhile, back in space, about 7 minutes into today's flight, ship continuing its ascent burn. This goes until just about 9 minutes into our flight. That ship engine cutoff is slated for 8 minutes and 57 seconds. We are going to see those 3 RVAC, the Raptor vacuum engines. Those are the bigger circles in that little indicator on the bottom right of your screen. Those will shut down first, and we continue burning for a couple seconds longer on those inner 3 before we hit SECO, or second engine cutoff.
Booster looked rock solid. That looked perfect. That looked like the booster just
these
nailed
views
it.
are looking great once again.
Nailed it and did everything perfect. So now we're on a Starship. I mentioned it was rolling. It seems to have stopped rolling, so it looks rock solid here now. We're still accelerating, all engines running.
And we just heard the sound from booster.
It's like we just got a late boom from the booster.
A little wiggling on Starship, but looks all right.
Yeah, we have ship engine cutoff coming up here just shortly. And as we've mentioned, today's flight test is not an orbital flight, but rather one that demonstrates Starship's orbital capability.
Starship is on terminal guidance.
So it should be,
All
what is
right,
it,
entering the final phase of this
8:57?
burn.
I think it's 8.
Under 30 seconds to go.
8:57 is our second engine cutoff. Engines are looking good.
All right, shut down the vacuum engines.
Looking pretty good. Engines
Ship
are off.
engine cutoff.
We shut down those center 3. Successful ship engine cutoff.
There we go. Yeah.
Seco, baby. There we go. That's
Yes.
what we want.
Nominal orbit insertion.
Nominal orbit
All
insertion.
right, we just heard the call out for nominal orbital insertion.
All
Look-
right, so
we're looking
ship
good.
is in space. There we go. We're seeing the flaps starting to move into a stowed position. That's why it looks like your camera's moving.
Yeah, exciting to see Starship safely in space and super pumped to see all the team's hard work in action here today. And of course, as guaranteed, it's been an exciting day so far. We successfully lifted off right on time at 6:30 p.m. Central Time.
Look at that view.
Thankfully, our weather was looking good today. Yeah, and booster, we had our soft splashdown in the Gulf, so ship continues on.
Yeah, ship able to complete its ascent burn all the way in. You can see some of the shadows start to creep as it's going to be eventually flying into an orbital nighttime. So we'll see some daylight start to go away. But ship is in orbit, completed its burn. And I mean, that's just the beginning. Now we've got a whole bunch more to go. So we've got some exciting demonstrations
Ship
planned
FTS is
while
safe.
we're on orbit.
FTS
That right
is
there,
safe.
we just saved the FTS, the flight termination system. That's that automatic flight safety system we have on the vehicle. So that is now turned off while ship starts its coast period. We are coming up, our next milestone is going to be the deployment of those Starlink simulators. We've got some payload inside of Starship that we're hoping to deploy into space for the very first time. That deploy is supposed to start at about 18 minutes and 27 seconds into the flight, so just about 7 minutes from now. That deploy will take place over a couple of minutes. It'll go about 1 satellite a minute, so we'll be spread out over that. It might get a little dark, but we've got a couple of views that we can show you to see
All
that
right.
deploy in action. After that, we're also looking to do a
why is it
relight
shaking?
of a single Raptor engine while we are in space. We've done this once before. This is not necessary to deorbit, as we are in a suborbital trajectory. But this is essentially a chance to test out what we need to be able to do a deorbit burn. So we'll be doing that a little bit later in the flight, about 37 minutes or so into the flight. And then we get into reentry. We're looking to get that light show and, more importantly, get that really critical data about the ship's heat shield.
Yeah, exactly. At about T plus 45 minutes, we'll be heading for reentry. Again, running those experiments with the tiles. We're going to be doing missing tiles, metallic tiles, and also intentionally loading those vehicles' flaps. Hopefully, we'll also see a splashdown in the Indian Ocean today.
Yeah, we were able to get to a reentry last time, but we didn't have full attitude control, so we weren't able to go in, heat shield first the way we're designed to. So we ended up losing contact with the ship before we could make it all the way through. So you still get data, but you're not really getting the data that we want to make sure we're kind of stress testing the vehicle. As Amanda just said, we removed a bunch of tiles, and we do this in some intentionally scary places on the vehicle because we're really looking.
We're seeing a lot of venting right now, which could be normal, but
before we ever start moving towards
there's a lot of venting.
putting ship into a full orbital mission. to then do re-entries a little bit later on. So,
I mean,
really,
if you look at
really
the
cool
orientation
that
on the
data.
little
Really looking forward
the little gyroscope in the bottom right corner, it looks
Yeah,
to be holding
as
rock
always,
steady.
our main
So
payload is data.
I don't think we're running it. I don't think we're out of control. I don't think we have any attitude control issues at the moment.
That Starship
Doesn't
will be
appear to be
deploying.
spinning or
We'll
anything.
see coming up here in just a few minutes.
Looks rock
We have
solid.
dummy satellites that are about the same size as our V3 Starlinks.
There's the
We
Starlinks.
have 8 in the Starship PEZ dispenser and expect to deploy at a rate of about 1 per
So
minute.
I think
as
we're
Dan
still
mentioned
good.
Earlier.
It does seem like a lot of venting,
Starlink
but
is critical in all of our flights
think we're
on
still good.
Starship to get our main payload data, as we always say. And in fact, it's Starlink that's currently providing these views you see as Starship cruises a couple hundred kilometers above our home planet and provides real-time telemetry through every phase of flight.
Yeah, we took a peek inside of the Starship payload bay there for a second. So there's 8 of them there. They kind of look.
we're 4.5 minutes away from Starlink deployment.
The same size as those V3 satellites.
So if we remember from last time on Flight 9, they couldn't even get the payload bay door open. That's because they had a leak in the nose cone. The leak put too much pressure on the payload compartment, and the door was not able to open because of that pressure that was preventing, basically kind of compressing the structure and preventing the door from opening. So it's kind of a cool view here from inside the payload bay. You can even see, if it moved this event list out of the way, you can see, I believe those are some of the COPVs on the left-hand side. Potentially one of the COPVs that failed on Ship 36 on the Massey test stand.
Actuator of the door to open. So that's why we weren't able to get the door open that time. We have not seen anything like that on this flight. Everything's looking good with our fuel tank and our fuel press system. So we are hopefully just a couple of minutes away from seeing that payload door open.
What is this?
To our first ever payload. It's not the first payload.
Why are we seeing haze
carried,
in the payload
but
compartment?
It's the first one we're going to try and shoot off into space.
Why? This is weird looking. Why are we seeing haze in the payload compartment? That feels like a leak.
All right, so I think we're supposed to open the payload door in just about a minute and change. And you're seeing a little bit of residual gas. And we opened the door once. I want to say it was back on Flight 3 when we were able to make it up into space. And you'll kind of see a lot of that gas rushing out into the vacuum of space. It's the residual that's left over after we've already vented it down. So kind of a cool light show. And then we'll get ready to deploy those payloads out.
That's weird looking. Where's the gas coming from? I guess it's vented and then coming back into the payload compartment. Is that what he's saying? Just trying to figure out where is this gas coming from that it's entering the payload compartment. I'm reading some of your comments.
And as we mentioned, so we have crossed over now at this point into an orbital nighttime. So views from the outside will get pretty dark, but we'll see what we can see. We do this by design. We've been launching these later in the day here in Texas to try and get daytime views when we splash down. So it's daytime over in the Indian Ocean, where we are currently headed.
Just a few seconds until we expect those payload doors to open.
We're 2 minutes away from payload deploy, so that door, I don't know. Do they open the door
All
right at
one more time? Open the pod bay doors, Hal.
Open the pod bay doors, Hal. I'm sorry, I can't do that, Dave. No, let's do it. This time we're gonna do it. Now, see, now we're getting like spurts of gas. That was like a rush of gas that just came through. I mean, I suppose that could be like RCS thrusters, maybe reorienting the vehicle. We don't really have a sense of that because we're only looking inside, so we can't really see what the vehicle's doing, but we do have the gyroscope in the bottom.
We are currently in payload deploy prep.
Oh, it looks like the door is open.
And the door is open.
Yeah. I didn't even notice it open. I just looked and it was open. Gas rushed out the door.
All right, so the payload door is open. We should see the first satellite start to deploy at about T plus 18 minutes and 27 seconds. So should be only about 30 seconds. So One step closer. Hal listened this time. He cooperated. He opened the payload door for us. There's a view kind of behind the Pez here, looking out into the vacuum of space.
A little bicycle chain on the left side.
About
That's kind of cool.
15
You can't see it. My
seconds
events
until
list is in the
payload
way. Here, get this out of here. Oh, and now the video's choppy. Well, there was. You'll have to take my word for it. There was a bicycle chain on the left side, which is kind of cool.
Ship has transitioned to
There it
payload
is again.
deploy.
See the bicycle chain on the left side. All right, we've passed the deployment time frame. It's supposed to be 1827. So we're 30 seconds past, but might still be okay. Oh, we got movement. Something's happening. Something's happening. Oh, I see the bicycle chains moving. There goes one. One's leaving.
There we go.
Look at that. Oh. Doesn't really look like it's all the way out. But... go back to it. Seems like a lot of moving parts.
Been waiting way too long to do that. There we go.
Look at this. Another one's going.
There goes another one.
Yep, and away it goes. Oh, bounced off the top on the way out.
Super exciting moment, as you can hear the energy in both Hawthorne and Starbase. Everyone's super excited for finally getting to deploy some of those simulated satellites.
Yep.
Pez system moving down. Next row. There we go. As we said, we're going to do about one every minute or so. And this is just kind of a dress rehearsal for when we're going to be deploying the V3 satellites. And these are just a massive, massive increase to Starlink's capability. Each one of them has its 60 terabits per second of capacity that's going to get added to the network per launch. That's 20 times more than what we're adding with every single Falcon 9 launch today, which, you know, step increase in capability. There goes another one.
Yep. Did it not go? Seems like it's still on.
All right, so as we said, we've got 8 total that we're going to go through today. It's about a minute for each one, but looking good on payload deploy.
We tried it. Now let's try it again. You put your Starlink out. You bring your Starlink in. You put your Starlink out and you send it out to space. There we go. It left that time. It went out, and then it came back, and then it went back out again. A little more movement again. This is cool. They're definitely not. Somebody said they're not as fast as in the animation. Yeah, they're definitely not like launching out the side like they do in the animation, like ching choo 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 choo. They're just kind of slowly, gently pushing them out the side.
All right, so we're about halfway through when we actually start launching the V3 Starlinks on Starship. We're going to be flying about 60 each time, so it'll be about an hour to get through a full stack. But again, it's just going to be a massive increase.
There's another one.
In the amount of bandwidth it's going to enable, gigabit upload download.
Oh, maybe that's why they're.
Starlink, anywhere on the planet. And
I
for
guess
us,
this gives me a little more
Starlink
context.
is
It looks like there's 2 per.
of just these
I mean, that
Starship
makes sense now.
program.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's
Always
2
getting
per
us that
row
data,
there, so it launches the first one out, brings the second one
yeah,
back,
the amazing views we have
and then
on
launches the
vehicle
second
today.
one.
Yeah, views brought to you by Starlink of us deploying Starlink simulators before we deploy actual Starlinks. How deep does it go? All right, another one firing out.
There it goes. Yeah, so there's Mythrisha said, I think they actually pushed the first one out using the second one, so they don't release that satellite that's doing the pushing, and then they go again. Yep, I think you're right. It does look like that to me as well.
Pez looking smooth today.
It is looking pretty cool. It's I mean, the one thing that gets me, I don't know, I guess slightly worried about this deployment mechanism is this seems to be a lot more complicated than a lot more moving parts compared to the old deployment method where it was just you released a pin and then they all just went. You know, this is a little more of like an individual deployment method, but also fits a whole lot more. And the whole mechanism is recoverable, right? If assuming Starship comes back in one piece.
Looks like we've got one left.
Almost there.
That whole mechanism is recoverable, so you know if there is something wrong with it, they could fix the mechanism or probably do a lot more diagnostics and figure out why it went wrong and, you know, redesign hardware if they need to.
Just a reminder, we're on a suborbital trajectory. These satellites on that exact same suborbital trajectory, they're going to burn up entirely and are on that same trajectory towards the Indian Ocean. So
looks like they did it.
the last one has been deployed. Starlink simulator payload complete. Heck yeah, everybody.
Loving the energy from
They're
Starface
gone.
and
Look at
Raptor.
that. All right. Achieve that objective. Whew.
There, yeah, now it's empty. Looking a little lonely, but
Now they got to close the door.
Successfully deployed all the simulator satellites.
really, really cool to see them all out there. Again, people that have followed know Starlink's really critical for the Starship program, in addition to, you know, getting all those views back from the cameras on Starship, which this is an external view. As I said, it's dark outside right now. The lights are off, so it's going to be hard to make stuff out, but in a little while, the sun's going to start coming up as we get to re-entry, which is going to be really critical. I mean, we use Starlink for Starship data. Cameras also use it on the cameras that we use to bring you views of these launches and also, hopefully, of the re-entry and splashdown. We'll see what we get from the Indian Ocean today. And that's just kind of how it all comes together. Like, we're using Starlink on the planet, off the planet. With Starship, we actually get a pretty insane, if you're in the space industry, you know bandwidth to space is usually pretty minimal. We get about 120 megabits per second. That's split between our high-definition video and real-time telemetry. We get that every phase of flight, including re-entry. So it's not just giving us views of re-entry, but we're getting all of that engineering data in real time through phases that it used to be impossible to get that in real time. So just really incredible.
Yeah, Starlink definitely affords us all this capability. And reminder, it's the world's largest satellite constellation operating in low Earth orbit to deliver high-speed, low-latency broadband internet. This provides internet.
All right, so while they're doing their Starlink sales pitch there, next up on the list here is going to be the Starship engine relight. And so that's supposed to happen at about 37 minutes. So we're about 10 minutes away from that engine relight. That's another big one. Another big one that we got to see happen today. So hopefully that goes well. And then after that will be re-entry, which re-entry starts at about 47 minutes. So we got
Starship is now going to close its payload bay door.
We got 10 to go for the relight, then another 10 for the re-entry.
Towards the Indian Ocean. Sorry, I'm really excited today. We are in space, people. Still a lot of major events to come, though. We are looking to relight one of those Raptor engines at about 37 minutes, 33 seconds into the flight, followed by atmospheric entry, hell of a light show, and splashdown. So we're going to go on a quick break, take a quick coast, sit back, enjoy the views. A little bit dark now, but they'll get better soon. A couple of space jams. We'll be back in just a few minutes for that Raptor relight and then re-entry. See you soon.
All right. So they're going to take a break for a bit, but we get some interior views again. Hopefully they get that door closed. But yeah, then we're 10 minutes away from the relights. Got to see that as well. This is pretty cool. So far, so good. We're not out of the woods yet, but we're getting there. We're trying. Let's see. A couple of questions I saw. Roger mentioned it. Nothing is going to orbit, which is true. So there is nothing going to orbit today. This is suborbital. So even though Starlink payloads, they were just test mass simulators that they were just testing the release mechanism. Those will also come back and burn up in the atmosphere as well. So yeah, nothing permanently staying up. Everything's coming back today and burning up in the atmosphere. It's just kind of for demonstration purposes. Joel wanted to know, it wasn't caught at the launch pad, referring to the booster. No, the booster was not caught at the launch pad. So right now, they've already demonstrated twice that they can catch the booster. So what they're testing right now is some of these off-nominal cases on what happens if they lose an engine. So what they did today was they intentionally disabled one engine in the center core. There's 3 engines in the center core of the booster. They intentionally disabled one, and then what they did was they had the computer system trigger another engine on the inner ring to start up instead as a backup. So when the computer system detected that one engine was out, it used one of the inner ring engines as a backup, turned that one on, and then they did the landing burn that way. So that was basically, they were testing an engine out procedure in case they have, an engine failure. They wanted to be able to start up a different engine as a backup. So they did that, and that worked perfectly today. The booster seemed to perform right on the money. I saw nothing off nominal with the booster today, which is pretty awesome. Let's see. Hey, Duke became a channel member here. Thanks, Duke. Welcome to Space Lobster Nation. Thanks for joining us here today. I have a button for that somewhere. One of these buttons. Which one is it?
Let's Lobster Fest.
There we go.
There's something for every lobster fan.
Something for every lobster fan. Welcome to Space Lobster Nation. Thanks, Duke. Appreciate you joining the channel. He said, hey, tried about 10 different feeds, and I like yours the best. Other people have graphics over the top of the SpaceX info. Yeah, I'm trying to keep my graphics to a minimum. I do have the timeline up. It's not blocking too much. I tried to push it off to the side so we can still read the altimeter and stuff. Although I guess I'm in the way here, so I need to move. I need to go back up here. I'll put myself back up here. I'm glad you made that comment because it reminded me to move myself out of the way. I'll stay up here. But thanks, Duke. Welcome aboard. Let's see. Nandon wants to know what's the context of the lobster again. Lobster is a long story. Maybe we have a link to it, or we have maybe one of the moderators can run the channel command, and it'll give you some context to it. It's a little bit of a story, but yeah, everybody around here, this is if you're new to the area, this is known as Space Lobster Nation.
Space Lobster.
So yeah, welcome.
Space Lobster.
So yeah, welcome. I have one that's one of them is supposed to say Lobster Fest. Oh, there it is.
Lobster Fest is on.
That's the one I was looking for. How did you decide on the name Lobster Nation? I don't think I really decided. I'm pretty sure that was decided for me. I don't think I had any hand. Well, I guess I did have some hand in it, but not intentionally. I didn't really get to decide the lobster name on my own. So yeah, I see Framrick ran the command. So Nightbot, to give you a little bit of context there, is basically a blooper on the stream from a long time ago. Yeah, like usual, I made a mistake, and it turned into a giant. I mean, it was briefly viral, right? Remember, if you were around in those days, We had we were actually trending on Twitter at the time. Space Lobster was trending on Twitter. It kind of was one of those like feedback loops where people were watching the stream. We had a ton. It was my first like big stream, and we had a ton of people watching. And I made a big mistake, and then people made fun of me for it. But then people like other people caught on to it, but didn't realize what they were catching on to. So then they started retweeting it as well, and it kind of went viral. I mean, only like a small percentage of people knew why it was going viral. But yeah, it was a thing.
Lobster Fest is on.
Anyways. All right. Well, we're at 34 minutes. We've got 3 minutes away from our engine relight test. So we're getting closer. We got a little bit of a glow going on, which is kind of interesting. Don't know why we've got a glow. A little bit of an orange glow, which always makes you nervous. But I think everything's okay. Ship looks rock solid so far. Altitude's holding, speed's holding, attitude's holding. Well, hopefully we're in good shape. Yes, somebody said Philip Swanner, our number 2 fan for the day. Top fan, number 2 is Philip Swanner so far. He's been battling for that number 1 spot. But it looks like Wild West Dan is overtaking the number 1 spot. So Wild West Dan, Philip Swanner, and then good old Red Scorpion bringing up the number 3 position. Currently on our top fans list for the day. I think it's based on how much you actually chat and talk. But anyways, Philip Swanner said the door looks closed, which I concur. We're not, of course, not looking at the inside of it right now, but it did look like the payload bay door was closed. So I think that's good. The mouse, yeah, Chusacon talking about the space mouse. The mouse held on for dear life. I don't think the space mouse is probably not going to be a thing on Starship. That's just a Falcon 9 thing, but that'll disappoint all the conspiracy theorists that the mouse won't be around anymore. They finally figured out how to work mouse traps at SpaceX. You know, they only had a mouse on every single flight for 15 years. And then they figured out how to work mouse traps. Let's see what else. Why do you never show your subscriber count on streams? I just don't have a widget to show. You mean like on the actual screen itself? I just don't have a widget that shows that. I'm not intentionally hiding it. I think the channel shows it. I think we're at 113,000, something like that. So, yeah, I'm not intentionally hiding it. I just, I don't have room on the video screen for it, but it should be on the YouTube interfaces somewhere. T. Brookie wants to know, do we have lobster gas inside the Starship? I bet that's what the gas was inside it. The lobster was just a little gassy from eating all the T-Teb.
Space Lobster ate the T-Teb. That's the answer.
That's the answer. Let's see. Are those flashes? Philip Swanner. Uh-oh, Philip's dropping to the number 3 spot now in a battle with Red Scorpion, who took over the number 2 spot. Are those flashes venting or the RCS to turn it? I imagine the flashes, yeah, right there, that little flash you saw, that looks like an RCS burst to me, like an attitude control system burst. That's what that looks like to me. So I'm gonna go with RCS. So relight, yeah, we should be coming up on relight here now.
Relight demo startup.
Oh, here we go. Perfect timing. Oh, we see a little wiggle. Oh. Oh.
All right, looks like we confirmed the relight of one of
There we
those
go.
center Raptor engines. Second time we've done that. Super exciting.
Phenomenal
Huge
orbit
congrats
insertion.
to the team on this milestone.
Yeah.
Very exciting to see.
That was a cool light show. Yeah, I get to do a mini version here. So again, that's going to be really critical for when we're doing deorbit burns. Like as you're going through, which if you don't have one of these, oh my God, they're so much fun. But like you're able to actually like light. Oh, Dan, turn it on. Light that engine. Not set my co-host on
Don't
fire.
burn the co-host.
And that's what we'll eventually do to, break out of orbit, come back down to Earth. So really cool to see one of those engines light back up again in space. That was our last in-space thing.
Very exciting. We're going to be heading back for re-entry at about T plus 45 minutes. So we're going to take another quick break, and we will see you soon.
Well, that was quick. But yeah, there you go. Just a quick little quick engine relight. But that's awesome. That's huge. As small as that demonstration was, like that's huge to be able to demonstrate reliable engine relight for deorbit.
It's going to deorbit.
Right? So now, that means now, we don't know if this is going to happen with the next version 2 Starship, the Flight 11, but that sort of starts to clear the path for potentially getting orbital here in the near future. I don't know if it'll be on Flight 11. Maybe they'll wait till we get to Flight 12 or 13 or something. Might be down the road somewhere, but because Flight 11 is still version 2 Starship. It's the last version 2 Starship. Might be the last launch for the entire year, but then we move on to version 3, which I think is not going to be ready until the end of this year. So we might get one more launch in 2025, and then version 3 is probably 2026, I think, is what the planned timeline is. So far, so good. We're checking all the boxes, and everything has been a successful demonstration, and that's now going to leave us for Starship entry, which is going to happen in about 7 minutes from now is when entry interface starts. And it's a 15-20 minute process to get all the way down to the water, but that should be starting up here soon. Let's see. Let me go back. I feel like I did miss a super chat, I think, from one of our moderators. I might not be able to scroll back that far. I don't think I can. I'm sorry. I think it was from Graham that sent over a super chat, and I saw it was like right around launch time, but thank you, Graham. Appreciate that. I meant to bring that up before. Then I saw Maxim's super chat come up here. Said, it's pointing forward to stay on track, no deviate. If you look at the attitude indicator in the bottom right-hand corner, you can see that Starship is reorienting itself for entry interface here. So it's getting pointed belly forward. You can see the belly's pointing towards the east, roughly towards the east, which is where it's going to enter. So right now it's just about over the eastern coast of Africa, about to fly over the southern tip of Madagascar. So it's getting pretty close to its entry points here. But thank you very much, Maxim, for the super chats. Appreciate that. And we're only like 4 minutes away from entry interface here, so we're getting pretty close. Pork Chop Jimmy wants to know, how much flap burn through do you predict? Well, obviously Flight 9 did not do well, but if we go back to the last successful entry we had, we got some burn through, but it was pretty minimal. So I'm really hopeful that maybe we get no burn through today. No major burn through, right? We do have to remember there are some heat shield tiles that are intentionally missing. Not a lot, but a couple. And there's a couple of metallic heat shields, actively cooled heat shield tile, and they're doing some testing on some rounded and tapered edges around the flaps to try to minimize that burn through. So I'm hopeful that we really see minimal to no burn through. I'd like to think so. Andre Nunes, was Raptor 3 used in this launch? No, I think we're still using Raptor 2 at this point. I don't think we're putting Raptor 3s on a mission yet. Probably, I think next year, possibly, is when we're looking for Raptor 3s. Let's see, Mr. Plain Talk. Do you have a specific timestamp for the lobster reference? Yeah, type !lobster, and it should give you a link with the exact timestamp. If you click on the link with the exact, it should take you to the exact moment of the video where that happened. Type !lobster is the chat command. Let's see. We're going down while speed is going up. Yes, that is to be expected. So that's actually good news here. So our altitude is decreasing now. We are approaching entry interface, and our speed will start to pick up because there's really not, like, we're falling at this point, but there's no atmosphere to slow us down. I was going to show you something on that view. I hope they go back to that view because there's something funny going on in that engine bay view. Flaps are moving around. But yeah, our altitude's coming down. Speed is going up. We're falling. That'll keep going up a little bit until we start to get into the atmosphere a little bit more. We're now at 103 kilometers in altitude. 100 kilometers is kind of that's basically the Kármán line there. So, we're starting to see, I think that's a little bit of plasma glow that we're getting here already. So we're not officially into entry interface here yet. We are below the Kármán line here now. You can see the altitude is ticking down. Speed's picking up a little bit still.
For a splashdown in the Indian Ocean. We don't plan to recover the spacecraft today, but if we do make it all the way down to the water, who knows? But the goal of this part of the flight is to learn as much as we can about the ship's heat shield. A fully reusable, rapidly reusable heat shield for a spacecraft has never been done before. It's one of kind of the hardest engineering challenges still out there for us. And so this is a time to really dig in and get that data.
Yeah, absolutely. And re-entry is a critical phase of flight, so we'll need information on how the ship's system ends up performing. And Starlink will also help us gather as much data as possible, which is really the main reason why we do these flight tests. Starlink provides us with one more path to collect data to help us rapidly iterate on Starship's design. And if the ship manages to make it all the way to re-entry, we'll collect valuable data on the spacecraft flying through the Earth's atmosphere at hypersonic speeds, or more than 5 times the speed of sound.
Yeah, throughout history, a lot of times this is when you go into just a complete data and insight blackout, where that plasma sheath builds up around the outside of the spacecraft that blocks all of your signals that are trying to fight through to talk to either satellites out in space or towers down on the ground. Starship's big size kind of gives us a wake, but what really helps us punch through is the fact that we're using Starlink. We're operating at just a much higher frequency.
What was that?
That's not what we want to see. So we just saw some of the aft skirt just take a hit.
Whoa, that was a big.
So he's got some visible damage on the aft skirt. We're continue to re-enter though. And again,
that was a big.
We are intentionally stressing the ship as we go through this. So it is not guaranteed to be a smooth ride down to the Indian Ocean. We've removed a bunch of tiles in kind of critical places across the vehicle. So seeing stuff like that is still valuable to us. We are trying to kind of push this vehicle to the limits to learn what its limits are as we design our next version of Starship. So 47 minutes, 45 seconds into the flight, excitement ticking up a little bit on re-entry already, but the light show is continuing. this reentry.
So entry is officially started. We saw a little bit of a big boom there. Our speed is coming down now, so we're no longer increasing in speed. We are decreasing the speed. We're still going 26,000 kilometers per hour, and we're at 83 kilometers in altitude. Not sure what that big boom was. They did remove a couple of heat shield tiles on purpose, so I guess it's possible that maybe that was a section where they removed them. I don't know. Seems like a weird section to remove it, considering this right next to the engines. They're going to need those for the actual landing burn. But I don't know where else you'd put them, because you don't want to put them by the actual fuel tank itself. But still seems like it's holding rock solid. Flaps have control.
All right, so at this point, the flaps have control. That means we're getting into a dense enough part of the atmosphere that the flaps can start controlling us. We're not only reliant on those kind of reaction control system thrusters.
We're going to continue hearing some call-outs as the ship...
We still got... The ship is holding rock steady. Oh, we got a little damage on this flap here as well towards the back end. Looks like the metal's actually kind of peeling away a little bit.
We're doing pretty well.
So we got, looks like we got a damaged flap. That doesn't look like burn through though, which is interesting. Like it looks like something happened to it, because it doesn't look like burn through. And actually, and that little, we're gonna have to, somebody remember the timestamp for that. It was like 47, 46 minutes, somewhere in there. We're gonna have to go back and watch a replay of that, of what that little blast was. Chusicon mentioned the flap was damaged before re-entry. I think I saw some people commenting about a damaged flap. I didn't see it myself until just now, but it sounds like you're right, because I saw a bunch of comments go by about the flap being damaged already. So I don't think that flap damage happened from re-entry heating. Don't know what that would have been from. Pork Chop Jimmy says 47 minutes exactly. All right, we'll go back to... After all this is over, we're going to go back to 47 minutes and watch that little structural failure there in the engine compartment. Got a little bit of a shake going on, it looks like. Like, well, that could just be an optical illusion. Maybe just some camera shake or something. Looking at the gyroscope in the bottom right, so far the rocket looks rock solid. Speed still coming down, altitude's coming down, obviously. I mean, that should continue either way, whether this is successful or not. We got a little damage on this flap as well. This is a different flap, and we're seeing some burn through too. Burn through in the top right corner, right below my picture here. How do I hide myself? I don't know if I can. Well, you can see it. It's right below my picture there, a little bit of burn through. We got something wiggling around in the slipstream there. I'm assuming that's the metal skin, one of those metal panels.
We're really trying to put it through the paces and kind of poke on what some of its weak points are. I mean,
But it seems to be holding attitude, so that's good. You can see that little section there that blew out. It doesn't look like it damaged. I don't know, maybe that was an area where they removed one of the tiles, because it doesn't look like it damaged the engine at all. And I don't think there were any fuel lines or anything there, so this is the other damage one. One thing that they were doing today, they did say that they were going to increase the stress on the rear flaps. And so I think that's where we're seeing the most damage right now, is on those rear flaps. We're seeing burn through on at least one of them, and then some like delamination or peeling back of the metal skin there on both of them, it looks like. But interestingly though, this is interesting looking. That's weird looking. It almost looks like the engine is like sucking up the vapors.
All right, so we're about 10 minutes until we're probably going to start hearing some of the other big milestones coming up.
Yep, in about 10 minutes, like Dan said, Starship will be transonic. This is going to be the period of flight where the velocities of airflow surrounding and flowing past the vehicle are concurrently below, at, and above the speed of sound, so somewhere in the range of Mach 0.8 to 1.2. For reference, commercial jets have a range of cruising speeds, but most of them fly at speeds between Mach 0.74 and Mach 0.85, so that's 480 to 575 miles per hour or 770 to 930 kilometers per hour.
Yeah, and after transonic.
Yeah, somebody said, Roger said, I think a gas container exploded. It could be. Maybe it's like a nitrogen COPV or something like that blew out. I mean, it was a pretty like, it wasn't like a burn through. It was a pretty explosive event that kind of ruptured the skin there that we saw at the 47-minute mark. So that would be a lot more indicative of like a gas container or something bursting. But it does look like, oh, this looks okay now. It's hard for me to tell which flap is which. This flap looks like it's doing okay. Is that the one? Is that one of the ones that was having an issue? I don't know. It's looking okay at the moment.
Subsonic. Once we hit subsonic, we're basically just belly flopping.
What does the number next to the speed represent? I'm assuming you're talking about that 21,000 number. That's kilometers per hour. 21,500 kilometers per hour. Next to it is the altitude. We're at 63 kilometers in altitude. And then we've got G-forces over on the right-hand side. So we're only at 0.8 G, so nothing crazy right now. That's also interesting, though. I don't remember them showing that before. Some cool views of the Earth. Attitude control is still looking pretty solid, which is good. She's still holding, says Red Scorpion.
All right, so about 55.5.
Currently in the number 3 top fan position right now.
Intentionally designed these flights to lift off in the evening here so we get these daylight views so we can get as good a video as possible on the ship, assuming we make it all the way down. We've got at least one buoy powered by Starlink that's out there in the landing zone in the Indian Ocean, hopefully giving us a view again. If you see any live views, not from the ship itself, that means we nailed our landing target.
Starship is past peak heating.
All right, made it through peak heating.
All right, we just heard the call out that we're past peak heating, so things are looking good so far.
Yeah, looking good.
Oh, the flap's moving. It always gets me nervous when it does that.
And at this point, again, the flaps are controlling. So this movement you're seeing is that forward flap moving to try and just maintain control, maintain attitude of the vehicle as we're coming down.
Why are they using metric measurements? Well, pretty much because the entire world uses metric measurements, and we're the only ones that don't here in the U.S. So, yeah, most engineering places are using metric measurements, especially for when it comes to like
on one of our
rocket
flaps.
science and things like
Got
that.
One of these cameras on all 4 of the flaps, 2 in the front, 2 in the back, giving us really good close-up views. As we obviously don't have a camera that can see the entire heat shield. These give us kind of the best that we can do. But looking at those flaps is really, those are just, super critical for controlling the ship. You have some ability to maneuver kind of cross range. So as you're coming in, you can see in that indicator at the very bottom right that we've pitched up quite a bit. So again, we are maximally stressing.
Oh
those
yeah,
aft
we
flaps
definitely
right
got
now.
burned through on this flap. Right underneath my picture there, you can see it's glowing. If I move myself briefly, I'll put myself back. You can see that glow there. Put myself back up here.
Still looking good. Ship maintaining control.
Yeah, still a lot of people talking about the camera view. It's still pretty incredible that we can get a live camera view of re-entry now, thanks to Starlink. And the fact that the Starship puts off such a huge wake behind it. But we're now at 56 kilometers in altitude. We're getting closer. Down to 16,400 kilometers per hour. Definitely a lot of burn through. Look at this. A lot of burn through in that flap there. Still holding together, but yeah, definitely got some burn through. Hopefully it just survives enough to control for landing. Got some flap movement again there. Here we'll hide the events list so we can see that. That you could see the burn through on that. That might be the same flap that we were looking at. So I think this is the forward flap looking back at the bottom of the ship. And that's the aft flap, I believe, is the view that we're looking at here right now. That would make sense because we're looking down at the Earth and the bottom is pointed towards the Earth. So yeah, that makes sense. Just talking to myself over here. Yeah, a lot of burn through on that flap. You can see pieces falling away.
48, 49, counting down to 48 kilometers in altitude.
Just will it hold long enough to get through re-entry heating?
Subsonic slower than the speed of sound.
We're slowing down quite a bit. I mean, that speed's coming down real fast now. 11,500 kilometers per hour. 46 kilometers in altitude. We've already passed peak heating.
All right, here we go. So this is what we've been talking about, where we are going to essentially try to fully deploy those aft flaps and really stress them out. So again,
oh boy,
this is meant to test the extremes.
Here's
for the
our
vehicle.
extreme. Here's this maximum stress point. They're going to fully deploy them and try to stress those flaps. Oh, we're getting a little wobble. Oh, more burns. Oh, that might be normal. Okay. All right. Okay. We're getting a little wobble.
Right. See those flaps swinging out? Again, we're putting ship through the ringer on this flight in.
Oh my goodness. We were up. I saw 2.2 Gs at the highest. I didn't see anything. Anybody see anything higher than that? She's wobbling. It looks like the burn.
We're still maintaining control.
I'm still seeing some glowing on that flap down there. We're still getting a little wobble. Getting a little wobble, but it looks like it's holding up, hopefully.
All right. Flaps earning their paycheck today, getting through kind of that max stressing.
Down to 6,000 kilometers per hour.
Far. We're about 2 minutes out now from Starship becoming transonic.
One cool thing to note as we get some of those views showing kind of the whole length of the ship, one of the changes we made after Flight 6.
Still seeing some glowing.
Changed the tile line a little bit. So we had kind of scaled back the number of tiles significantly, as when we go to catch these ships, you don't want to, I think as Elon said, you don't want to shuck the ship as you catch it and knock all those tiles off. So we knew we were going to have to kind of peel back that layer a little bit. And the first time we did it was on Flight 6, and we saw kind of wrinkling and dimples almost in the ship as we were creating these hot spots in the uneven parts of the heat shield. And so to kind of address that, we smoothed it out. That's why you've got kind of that nice smoothed out black line now on the ship. And just looking at it, we can see kind of a little bit of hot spot, a little bit of warping almost. Near the payload door, you can see a little bit of colored patina up above it, but we don't see those kind of deep, almost, they almost look like gouges on that. So it looks like that's been pretty successful. So.
Yeah, it's interesting. You can definitely see that discoloring, the little patina that's developed on the metal there, the little purple and blue kind of hot spot right by that payload door.
Kind of falling off a cliff, and Starship will look like it's falling off a cliff as we essentially go into our belly flop. If you watched some of the high altitude tests.
Oh, we slowed down quite a bit. We're down to 2,200 kilometers per hour 28 kilometers in altitude. So this is actually lower than our high altitude balloons go now. So this is under 30 kilometer. Our highest balloon we've launched, I think, got to 32 kilometers or 33 kilometers in altitude, somewhere in that range. Definitely around. We're below all that. This flap looks to be holding. It's really just the rear flaps that had some burn through. I don't see any more. I don't see any glowing anymore. And we're just about to go under 1,000 kilometers per hour. So we've really slowed down quite a bit.
All right, so at this point, we've dropped below the speed of sound. So Starship itself is subsonic. We are starting to chill the engines for a landing burn attempt. Landing flip supposed to start in a little over 2 minutes. Subsonic Indian Ocean, we're on our way.
Starship is subsonic.
Yeah, I think now
there we go.
I think we were transonic before. Now we're subsonic.
Farewell, space. All right, so coming up in just a little under 2 minutes, so we're going to do the flip and the burn. So we're only using those 3 center Raptor engines, the sea levels, the ones that can kind of gimbal, that can move around and steer.
Looks like we're shedding some heat shield tiles.
Dipping the nose
There's a
down
little bit of fluttering happening there in the center. And you can see that flap is looking a little rugged down at the far end. This one doesn't look as bad, but the flap on the other side looks a little rugged. Oh, and it looks like we lost...
2 of our engines chilled in, waiting on one more.
We lost some of the heat shields on the back, the heat shield tiles on the back of this side.
We eventually go down to just 2 Raptors for the end of the landing burn.
Down to 6.5 kilometers in altitude.
Just about one.
Still holding rock steady.
Landing flip and landing burn start.
Under 450 kilometers per hour in speed here now, so we've slowed way down. Getting to about the cloud layer.
Structurally, we're looking good. Got good pressures in our
Just
nose
see if we can
cone
do a
for
soft
everything.
landing here.
Just about 30 seconds. Again, we're going to look for the flip. So Starship's doing its belly flop right now. We're going to do the flip. Swing out. Let's punch through some clouds first.
Through the cloud layer. Should be a flip here any second.
Starship landing burn startup.
Here it is.
Seeing 3 engines.
Oh, there we go.
There's our flip.
There's the water. Yeah. Oh, live view, live camera view. Oh, look at the.
There's a
just
There's a splashdown.
Boom.
Hey. Oh, man. Yeah, farewell, Ship 37. Thank you, buoy cam. Landing flip, landing burn, splash out of the Indian Ocean. There we go. All right. That was pretty awesome.
Incredible flight
cool,
today
right?
for both ship and booster.
Yeah, really incredible. So obviously we're excited here. It looks like everybody's excited over there. Tyler, how's it going over in Hawthorne?
We are super excited here in Hawthorne. It was another exciting Starship flight test in the books, and we hope you enjoyed those Starlink views. So congratulations to the team at Starbase and everyone here and around the company. So many employees have contributed enormously to the Starship program as we continue to iterate and make progress towards a multi-planetary future. So that's going to wrap it up for us here in Hawthorne. Thank you to everyone for tuning in today. It was great being with you today. Back to you guys.
That was absolutely incredible. Huge congrats to all the teams here. Again, we lifted off from Starbase Texas right at the top of our window at 6:30 p.m. Central Time. We saw a booster successfully lift us up through ascent, had a successful hot staging where ship continued on with its suborbital trajectory. Booster came back down, had that boost back burn, and a successful landing burn with that unique engine configuration as well.
Yeah, and then ship continued on its way, made it all the way into space. We got to see first ever payload deploy.
So exciting.
That was awesome. We got the door open, 8 Starlink simulators deployed, relit that Raptor engine, and then on entry, we probably gave it a little bit of extra time in the oven, but made it all the way through re-entry. All 3 engines started up, landing flip, splashdown in the Indian Ocean. Promised maximum excitement. Starship delivered.
Most
so
definitely.
Congratulations, all of our teammates here at SpaceX. It's been a year. Everybody that's worked on this program, this is what we're working for. So big congrats to all of them. Thank you to all of our future customers, too, for your support.
And we'd also like to thank the fine people of Cameron County, including the residents of its newest city, Starbase, as well as the Coast Guard, the Federal Aviation Administration, the Government of Mexico, and the Australian Space Agency.
Be sure to stay tuned to SpaceX on X for updates, more of the views. This is just a tiny amount of the views. We have so many views that we didn't get to feature on the broadcast, so we're going to be going through that over the next couple of days, and we'll be posting it all there.
Yeah, if you're interested in more launch coverage, head on over to spacex.com/launches for the most up-to-date information. In fact, we actually recently rolled out a new departure board featuring our upcoming launches with details like mission name, launch and landing site, and liftoff time. So be sure to check it out.
All right. We just launched the world's biggest rocket. Again, dropped a couple satellites off, suborbital.
Incredible payload deploy for today.
Nailed that double header into the ocean, splashdown, time to go through the data. Really crazy cool to hit all those objectives today.
Yeah, huge shout out to all the teams who make this look easy. And thanks to all of you for tuning in, and we will see you back here for Flight 11. Good night.
All right, there we go. We've got, we're going to go back and we're going to have to replay a couple of these things here. That was pretty awesome. That's about, I mean, we could be a little bit better if we didn't have the burn through or the little explosion, but that's like a 95% success for today. Extremely, extremely successful mission. And yeah, we hit 95% of the probably hit 100% of the objectives. I'm sure, casual onlookers will look at the burn through and say, well, that part failed. They kind of expected that probably because they did say beforehand, we talked about in the pre-show, they were going to put extra stress on the rear flaps today. They were intending to put in extra stress on the rear flaps. We saw burn through. I don't know what the little explosion in the engine compartment, that seemed unexpected, that we saw at the 47-minute mark. A couple people mentioned, so Jeff mentioned, why did it blow up though? So the explosion at the end was completely planned. That's expected. So the plan was just like the Super Heavy booster, right? It was going to do a soft landing in the water. Once they get to the soft landing and they have engine cutoff, mission's over. Like that's the end of the mission. At that point, the engine's cut off. The thing just tips over. It's pressurized, right? It's still got fuel under pressure. As soon as it impacts the water, that fuel explodes. But the mission's already over. As soon as you get to soft landing, engine cut off, mission's over. That's the end of the mission. Whatever happens after that doesn't matter. It's not part of the mission anymore. But if you think about it, the fact that there's a single buoy out in the middle of the Indian Ocean with a 360 camera on it, waiting for this rocket to come down, and it landed right next to the buoy in the Indian Ocean after launching from Texas. So pretty much bullseye on the landing there. So that's pretty awesome. We even got a live view of it. Little bit of burn through on the rear flaps to be expected. Hopefully improve on that in the future, but did survive. We got the landing burn startup. We got the soft water landing. It looked to me like it was maybe a little bit off, off center, but we're going to go back and look at that here in a second. So I don't know if maybe it didn't get fully upright because those rear flaps were, something was going on with those. But yeah, I'd call that a 95% success. We had the in-space engine relights. We had all 8 Starlink satellite simulators deployed. Awesome. Fantastic. It was great. So anyways, let's go. I want to go look at, we'll grab a couple comments, but I do want to look at a couple things on the replay here. We'll turn this down a little bit. We'll put on our replay text so people don't get confused if they join in here. But yeah, I guess first things first, one of the things that I wanted to look at here on this, I don't like the video player on X here because I can't easily skip forward and back. One thing that I thought was kind of interesting, so as it's coming in, as it's coming in, you can see that the heat shield side is completely orange now, which is an interesting look. Maybe. Come on. Now it's not letting me do anything. We might have to. Sometimes this happens when their stream ends. I gotta refresh the whole stream. It goes from like live mode to replay mode. So here, let's try it now. There we go. Now it's working. So here we go as we approach the water. Whoop, there's the big explosion at the end. But what I wanted to show was right here. You can see the whole underside where the heat shields are. It's like completely orange, which is kind of interesting to see. I guess the real get rid of this thing. The real interesting part, I guess. Well, we got a little bit of extra flaminess there on the side. Don't know what's going on there. I definitely see 2 engines lit. I don't know. Do they have the graph? I was looking at the graphic to see if they had all 3 engines lit on the graphic, but I did not see the graphic update. But yeah, so we got a little bit of an orange color there, a little bit of extra flaminess. I definitely see at least 2 engines running. And then, of course, the buoy kind of moves off to the side. We circle back. It doesn't, I don't know. I was thinking maybe it was kind of not vertical when it soft landed. But if you look at it right here, like, that's pretty much straight up. That looks pretty vertical to me. I was thinking maybe it wasn't completely vertical, but actually looks pretty good to me. And so then you get engine cutoff right there. That's engine cutoff. And then it's going to tip over. So mission, at this point, mission's over. Whatever happens from here, doesn't matter. Mission's over at this point. And so now it's just going to tip over in the water. Look at all the discoloration on the underside there. This part is like white, which is interesting as well. And then we get a big boom. It's always kind of cool to see. So then the other thing that we want to look at, we want to go back to the 47-minute mark, right? It was 47 minutes where we saw that energetic event. Kind of caught me off guard at least. Go back just a touch. Yeah, so it's right about here. So you're going to see on screen, it's right over in this region. We have a bit of some sort of energetic event, which is interesting though, because I don't know, trying to get my bearings on which direction's up and down, but I think this is the belly over here. Am I right? Am I wrong? I think this is the belly. And so the fact that energetic event was over here is kind of weird. Oh, you can't see. Move the camera. Yeah. Good point. Thank you. Thanks, Jusicon. So yeah, the energetic event was like over here. I think this is the belly over here. So with the energetic event, the little explosion being over here is a little bit weird to me. So let's move this forward and we'll see it now that I'm out of the way. Oh. Yeah, see, that's weird. Like, that's not like a burn through. That was something else going on there. Not sure what. You see a little bit of like, I wonder if it's something to do with RCS, because you see right before this happens, we see a little bit of a stream that looks like maybe some RCS venting right there, and then boom. And then the venting stops, and actually we see some gas kind of floating around a little bit. So I wonder if that's an RCS port of some sort. Right here, we get a little venting, then boom. Seems like maybe we lost an RCS port or something. Reaction control system. And it seems like it's actually on the outside of the ship, because there's nothing there on the inside. There's no piping. There's nothing. So that's my suspicion, is that maybe it's something to do with the reaction control system, because we see that venting. A little bit of pulsing too, right? It starts, we get a little vent, then some pulsing right here, and then boom. So it kind of seems like maybe we lost an attitude controller, an attitude control thruster. Yeah, and that's what everybody's saying. Agreed, it's outside in. Sputters, then pops, might be an RCS, says Chusicon. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm seeing as well. So definitely an explosion of some sort, says Anita. Yeah, so there's a little bit of something interesting. Hey, KDB became a channel member here. Thanks for another fun stream. I need some sleep now. Well, thanks for joining. Actually, no, KDB's been a member for 50 months. I thought this was a notification that she became a channel member. It's actually just highlighting it because she is a channel member. Channel member for 50 months. Thanks, KDB. Thanks for the support. 50 months supporting the stream. It's a long time. Appreciate the long time support. Okay, here you go. Chusicon says 4343 if you want to see the flap delaminating before re-entry forces come into play. All right. Good point. Good reminder there. What did you say? 4343. So we're coming up here. Do we actually see the delam? Oh, yeah, right there. Well, so now I wonder, is that the same side where we had the RCS explosion? What time? Oh, no, because that was at 47. So that doesn't make any sense. Yeah, so why did that happen? That doesn't make any sense at all. I was thinking maybe the RCS damaged it, but no, the RCS was at 47. And so we've already got, like, that looks like more than just delamination. Like, that looks like, I don't know, that looks like it was, like, I don't know, obviously it's damaged, but like damage, like something happened to it. Not that it just like wiggled free, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Do we see that any earlier than 43? Or is 43... Well, so here's a view. I think this is the same flap. Maybe that's a forward flap. There's nothing there. We spent a long time looking at Starlinks. And then, yeah, 43 is... Seems like that might be the earliest we see it. Was it there early on in the mission at all? I don't see it here at 9 minutes. We don't see it here at 10 minutes. Is it one of the flaps that has these tiles on it? I get confused on which one's which. I think... Yeah, all right, so let's go back here. early in the mission, 10 minutes. So this is early on. Actually, interestingly, so I think this might be the same flap they were looking at. Maybe correct me if I'm wrong. But right in that area where we had that delamination, we got a little discoloring there, like a little patina going on. Like it's almost being, like it's experienced some heating somehow. Maybe an RCS thruster that's nearby is heating that up. I think this is the same flap, but if you look closely, like that looks like a little patina that's generating on that, right in that region there. Would you agree? Am I onto something? So yeah, it definitely looks like that's experiencing some heating a little bit. And this is 10 minutes into flight. I don't know why it would be experiencing heating at this point. Hot staging, maybe, says Maxim. Heat staining, Skyfire. You're either onto something or you're onto something, says AMAC. All right, I'll take that. Yeah, so we definitely got a little bit of a patina from some sort of heating going on here early on in the mission. This is 11 minutes in. I guess possibly, Maxim says maybe from hot staging. So does Web Chanter thinks hot staging. This is a different flap here now. When do we... Oh, we might not see the moment we lose the... Because then we go into the Starlink deployment. I mean, SpaceX is going to see that moment. Because, yeah, then we come back early on. Yeah, here we are at 40 minutes. We're still in darkness, but you can see... And I do remember seeing this now that we're going back. You can see the little... Looks like a little antenna sticking up here or something. But, yeah, that's the delaminating that's happening. That might be the first time we've seen it. It was about 40 minutes. Oh, yeah, you see it there a little bit. Back it up a little more. Then we get into Starlink. So, yeah, maybe, let's see. Can we put, let's see if we can pull up hot staging. I think our camera view from hot staging is going to be on the wrong side, though. Did we miss hot staging already? Oh, yeah, we missed it already. Hold on, back it up. Yeah, we're looking at the wrong side right now. But still, there's nothing like, I don't know, even looking at this side. Oh, yeah, a little bit of heating there. Yeah, so maybe that did happen from hot staging. A little bit of like blowback from the Starship's engines. Maybe. Got a little blowback or something from when the Starship lit up its engines. Not sure. But yeah. I mean, then we could fast forward a little bit. We'll take a look at the Super Heavy landing. That was pretty picture perfect here. And you could also see, so when we did the Starship landing, here's our entry burn. All the engines lit up. We did lose one engine. So everything but one engine lit up on the landing burn for Super Heavy, rather. And then they intentionally... So the three center core engines would normally do the final landing burn. They intentionally had one engine out and then restarted kept an inner ring engine on instead to kind of simulate a backup scenario where they needed a different engine. So that was pretty picture perfect. And then they came down, did a little hover right around 0.3. Hovered at 0.3, and then one engine off, and then both engines off. And then after that, it kind of just falls to the ocean and splashes down. And that was planned, so that was pretty awesome. But yeah, there we go. There's our mission for today. that flap, something definitely happened to that flap, and it was before the entry heating. And then obviously we definitely had burn through on both sides, looks like. Then we get into our landing burn here with the flip maneuver, which looked great. Soft water landing, which also looked great. And then a little tip over and kaboom. All right. Well, I think we went through it all. I think that's just about all we have to cover. Anybody else? Anybody got any comments? Any final parting words? Let's see. Who's officially our top fans at the end of the broadcast here? Wild West Dan bringing in the #1 spot, followed by Philip Swanner bringing in the #2 spot, and wrapping it up with a 4-way tie, at least according to the numbers here. But YouTube is giving the #3 spot to T. Brookie. Although when I look at the numbers, it's actually saying that T. Brookie, Anita, who's this? Mike Basin, maybe? Is it, or Hindu Trader? I can't tell what the name is on that. And Red Scorpion, all kind of tied for third technically. But YouTube is apparently giving it to T. Brookie today. So top 3, Wild West Dan, Philip Swanner, and T. Brookie. Top fans today in the YouTube chat. Why does the video feed always freeze just as something happens? Yeah, I mean, mostly what's happening is, you're getting a big shock wave, right? It's an energetic explosion. You get a big shock wave from it. It's shaking the antenna around, just like the early on in the Falcon 9 landing days on the Starship, or the drone ship. That's what I'm trying to say. Shakes the antenna, just briefly loses video signal because, you need high bandwidth video, or high bandwidth for video signals. So you get a big shock wave and it's just jostling your antenna around like crazy. You're going to lose your connection a little bit. Remember, this is a Starlink antenna in the middle of the Indian Ocean. It's literally in the middle of nowhere. Quite possibly, I mean, it's not quite Point Nemo, but it's, pretty far away from people. So that's it. That's all that's going on. Random question. Could they reshape the flaps by removing the burnout area? I mean, I suppose they could, but that alone probably just moves the burnout area somewhere else, right? You got to think about what's causing the burnout. The burn through is caused by a high pressure area, right? All that plasma that's building up under the ship has got to go somewhere, right? And what's happening is you're just getting like a high concentration. Let's see, we'll put this up here. You're getting a high concentration of plasma, like right at this edge here, and it's trying to figure out how do you smooth out that edge so that it doesn't get stuck here and build up here. How do you smooth that out so that it goes up through the flap, and it also doesn't go in the little gap between the body and the flap. You don't want it to go through that gap there either. You want to kind of smooth it out and direct it over the flap so it doesn't kind of collect and gather. So if you just cut out the area, then you're probably just kicking the can down the road to somewhere else on the flap. So really it's more of like figuring out how to smooth out that area to prevent the plasma from building up so much right in that spot, that hot spot. All right. Well, I think we covered most things. Let me check through. We'll see if we missed anything. Bunch of people watching here now. Before you leave, just do me a favor. Click that like button on the video. It does help out. I know you probably hate hearing YouTubers say that all the time, but yeah, just click the like button for me. It does help out. We got 900 people watching right now and only 300 likes. So we got like 600 people that could really up the game here on the YouTube side of things. All right, what else did we miss on in chat here before we wrap up. We'll go through a couple more questions. Ronnie thinks that it was hit by a satellite. I'm assuming maybe you're talking about the Starlink demonstration satellites. I don't think it was hit by a satellite. I don't think that's what caused the little explosion. I think it was an RCS thruster that we just lost. An RCS thruster that decided to end its day early. Carl says Starship should be a lifting body. So when you say a lifting body, are you talking about like generating lift itself? Because it actually kind of does do that during the belly flop maneuver. It can actually generate some lift. Actually, the Super Heavy booster actually generates lift as well as it's coming back to land either in the water or at the launch pad. So it's actually generating lift as well, even though it's a cylindrical shape. It's still so big that it actually generates lift, which is kind of crazy. All right. Well, I think I went through all the comments that I want to cover, unless anybody has any parting words. We finally did it. Finally got through Starship 10. Got the mission taken care of. And now we got to wait and see what happens for Starship 11. The good news is no major anomalies today, so don't need an FAA investigation. Don't need to jump through a whole bunch of hoops. It's really just let's line it up and let's go. We could probably get to flight 11 pretty quickly. I guess it depends on if they want to change anything or what they're going to do. So we'll have to see. How they want to proceed from that. The downside, though, is I think flight 11 might be the last flight for this year because they said it's the last version 2 and version 3 not really going to be ready until next year. So we could have a long gap between flight 11 and flight 12, but we'll see. Are they going to try to do flight 11 right away? Are they going to wait 2 months and do it again? I'm not sure. We'll find out. So, yeah, there we go. We tried 3 times. Third time's a charm. Third time's a charm for launching this mission. Fourth time's a charm for actually getting the mission objective completed, right? They tried it on flight 7, flight 8, flight 9. Finally got the objectives achieved. So hopefully we can move on to some new objectives for the next flights. And it's not like deja vu talking about the same objectives again. So, okay, well, that's going to do it for me. I think I'm going to wrap it up here. If you want to continue the conversation with some of our like-minded Space Lobster Nation folks, consider joining our Discord channel.
Lobster Fest is on.
And having some conversations with some like-minded folks over in Space Lobster Nation.
Space Lobster ate the T-Tab. That's the answer.
All right, well, appreciate you guys all hanging out here for today. It was a fun day. I'm super excited that we got this done. And yeah, there we go. Philip Swanner says, go send Director Tory to go yell at your ISP. Oh, I am getting on the phone with the ISP right away. Right away. We're going to try to get this sorted out. We'll see what happens. We got the world's most complex Pez dispenser. For sure. For sure. And it worked flawlessly, it looked like this time. It's the first time we got to see it work, so. All right. That's going to do it for me, everybody. Thanks for joining us today. We had some fun. Starship 10 in the books. Successful. Loved it. My name's Tori. This is Overlook Horizon. We'll see you next time. Goodbye, everybody. See ya.